Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Heat Press for Profit podcast. We are coming to you live from Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and more. And we are on episode 101, where we are going to be talking about Heat Press, real profit, the power of pop-up customization. And we are being joined today by Kelly Walters. And I'm sure most of you listening in and viewing today know who she is. But Kelly, in case we do have some new listeners with us, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm not used to introducing myself. This is like so funny on the other side. Hi guys, I'm Kelly Walters. I'm the director of Experiential Marketing here at Stahls. And my main role is to make sure that you guys have an incredible experience when it comes to really touching any of our products, from merchandising, booths, education. So I'm really excited to join Jenna today on talking all things the power of pop-ups. I mean, I feel like we get so excited for those. So thanks for having me.
Yeah. I felt like you're perfect for this because you and I have been being kind of pulled in this direction naturally, because it's become such an ongoing, I don't want to say just a trend, because it's not just a trend. It's like a business model. But we're being kind of pulled in this direction naturally and being asked about how it is all set up and how you can best streamline the process. So since you and I are constantly working on things like this, I just feel like from our perspective, a lot of people are going to pull some great knowledge from this today. So if you guys happen to be catching this later on your favorite podcast platform, that is awesome. And make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. We're dropping fresh content every single week. And if you're serious about taking your heat printing hustle to the next level, head over to Facebook and join our Heat Press for Profit community. You can connect with us, Kelly and I, Josh, Dave, other industry pros, swap ideas, and get inspired by fellow decorators that are making big moves. And some of the big moves we are seeing by some of the pros in the industry is pop-up customization, right, Kelly?
So first, before we get started, like if you guys are nervous about pop-ups, or maybe you've been thinking about it, but you're not quite sure like where to get started, Jenna is the guru of pop-ups. So if you are tuning in to kind of learn more, ask the questions, because I mean, Jenna, like you've done at least 25 more now. I mean, you've done a ton. So guys, take advantage of this time if you're tuning in live.
Yeah, I would say I am kind of in a lucky position because I work for Stahls, obviously, but we have a dedicated like marketing expense that we utilize to build better brand awareness, right? Because we are getting behind, making more meaningful merchandise and printing with a purpose, right? So we can put less items in the brand fill and curate an experience that people want to buy into, right? And have pieces that they can keep because they made it themselves and they were a part of that experience, right? And so because from that aspect, I have the ability to see the impact that it can make, but also the revenue it can generate. It's so important that if you have a heat press that is remotely portable and can fit on a table, you have this business model. And then you're not waiting for orders, you're creating demand on site.
It's a simple concept, but you just kind of have to jump and go for it, right? Like it's not difficult to execute, but there's a lot of different ways. So
yeah, right. You're exactly right. There is a lot of different ways. There's multiple revenue streams. My approach has been, okay, let's just put a package together that pieces it all in. And it's like, okay, here's what you're going to get for this set amount of pieces. First come, first serve. If it's a group of 500 attendees and you're only bringing 150 pieces, the first 150 people that get there get that item. And now they have this experience and this exclusive thing that they get to go and talk about and generate curiosity from other attendees that missed out. Right. So I feel like that is a really great business model. Just kind of have like a set price or set tiered pricing for different things that can fit into those packages. But then I've also seen it where you pop up and you just charge per piece, right? If the attendee wants to buy that item for whatever pieces you've curated for that event, then they do that too.
There's I haven't really noticed a big trend where it really leans one way or the other. I've seen such a variety in either the custom offering, or there's ample amount and they don't want, anybody to miss out, or if it is really kind of this limited edition, first come, first serve, like it's hot, you got to get it. And then, we're out, we're done. Sorry, your loss.
And you know what? I think it could also be event based. I think it could go both ways depending on what the client is exactly that you're wanting. So for example, we had the opportunity to partner with AutoCAP just over the past week for the silent auction that's held on by Skechers. And this is a fundraiser that's for the Roundhouse Aquarium out in Manhattan Beach. And so they essentially hired OTTO, right, to bring on this activation for a set, whatever it was that they agreed upon in this contract, right? And so we had the opportunity to go and help AutoCAP set up for success with the 360 IQs and make sure everything was running great for them. But that's what their approach was. So like they wanted this curated experience for attendees where they're already auctioning off high-end items. So they wanted to give them this kind of curated experience as a gift. They were also making like handmade bracelets as an activation, and they were making like leis from fresh flowers, right? So there were a lot of experiences that were free to the people that were invited to the event, but it was also because they were there for a greater cause, right?
Yeah.
Bringing them in to spend money on these silent auction items to raise money for the cause of the aquarium.
It's like the modern day thank you bag or gift bag, right? Like, because then if you don't want a bracelet, then we aren't giving away something that could potentially go into a landfill, like you said, or it's just kind of like a waste, like money was spent on that. But then people could kind of pick and choose. So I never really kind of looked at it as like the modern day gift bag. And now I'm like, well, instead of a kit, it's just go to your own stations.
Right. It's like choose what you would want instead of us giving you something you would never use. Right. And so it also created a lot of buzz, right? Like when you go to a party and you see something unique, like for example, whenever we did the print on demand conference, one of the main things attendees were talking about post-conference was the POD after dark party, because we had alpacas, right? And it was just this random, like one thing that you don't often see or experience at an event, that it gets people talking. And it's like, oh my gosh, did you see the alpacas? And people are taking photos and getting excited about it. I think that people are utilizing stuff like this too to create buzz around the event that Skechers threw in order to raise money for the aquarium, right? And so it's just, okay, what kind of buzz can I create? I want my brand to be remembered. I want this party to be talked about more. So maybe next time I can get more sponsors, whatever it might be, right? So people were wearing these hats around, and people were being drawn more and more. But what was hilarious was when they walked up, they couldn't believe it was free. They were like, "How much is this?" And so when we told them it was of no cost to them, they were like, "What?" Like they couldn't believe it. So that was another reason to like keep people talking, right? And so if your brand as a heat printer is connected to that, that is such opportunity and such revenue growth that you can experience just from being able to go to one event.
That's so cool, though, that they saw the value in what was being provided at that event and automatically had that expectation. Plus, knowing that hat bars, have popped up everywhere. Most of the time,
Mhm.
you do have to pay for it, even if you're at an event that has a standard logo or can add one patch. Where in this particular situation, if you think about it more from a corporate standpoint, right? If they were having a corporate event and hired Auto to come in and do that experience, then that's just not only a customized experience for their attendees, but it gives you the ability to showcase what you can offer. And then you just get those customers or those people, those attendees that are so excited and
Uh-huh.
probably want to come back and return. And it's just this, ever evolving, oh, I got to go to that, event again. It was so fun. They had all of these things that were given to us, even though it was a fundraiser at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I love the approach that they took about it because that from every demographic, it didn't matter. Uh, we had the coach of the Chargers there
Hmm.
from the Miss Universe contestants, right?
Cool.
Howie Mandel. There was a lot of like, you know, it was a different caliber of people, and so they wanted to create an experience that felt like a VIP experience, like, "Hey, you're special to us because you've been involved. We want to invite you to this. Whether you are a part of this auction or not, we still want to give you this VIP experience." The reason this hat bar fits directly into that high-end VIP experience is because of the quality you get out of it,
Hmm.
right? Because a quality you're getting from Auto automatically. They're extremely versatile. They have a retail appeal. They offer a lot of great colors, structures, and patterns, and they hold up when it comes to the heat application, right? Because we're beyond just being able to slap a vinyl logo on a hat. We're able to do these more elevated pieces now. We're looking at faux suedes and leathers, wovens, you name it, right? Chenille, PVC. We're able to offer all these different finishes. So that speaks a lot to the curated experience as well. A lot of people could probably just pop up a hat bar, but you have to really be specific to what Skechers wants to represent as their brand because they're the ones that are hosting this specific customization station, right? And but there's a lot of that goes into it, but honestly, like that is part of the VIP experience because you're curating not just the experience, but you're getting quality out of it as well. It's not going to be just a throwaway item.
For sure. They want to hold on to it. I mean, it's not junk, especially if they can put what they want on the hat, right?
It's not junk. So, from an experiential perspective, I know you have seen Otto and Stahls a lot
Yeah.
from events that we have done together. From your perspective, what do you think audiences take from it whenever you've seen that combo? How do you think they feel as when they come out of it?
I mean, I think there's a couple of different ways from it. One is if you are providing a quality item, I think a customer or any attendee automatically feels this sense of I'm worth something more than it's just going to fall apart or at the end of the day, it's going to disintegrate in 2 weeks or something. So I think there is something that is kind of important about showing quality mixed with the clientele or attendees or the purpose of having that activation. So if we know that auto is quality combined with quality patches and emblems and that experience as a whole, you weren't just a I'm gonna wing this type of event and see what happens. Like, it was set with purpose, from the designs on the hat to the companies that were used to the just overall staging and environment. The other thing is, there's a lot of different hat companies out there, right? And I think really honing in on knowing what works with what products is also huge, because nobody likes to have any mess ups on site. We're human. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes a product could have a little error in it, and it's natural. It's not perfect. But
yeah, that should not be like an expectation by any means.
yeah.
For contingency, if you are actually getting serious about wanting to do something like this, just keep in mind mistakes happen and make sure that you just have some extra on hand to be safe.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is to just, like, you got to kind of like brush it off. You can't focus on the failure aspect of it, because if somebody is paying for that item, then there might be a little bit of concern. But even the things that I've been a part of, whether it is, something that we have done event wise with auto, people always think that it costs every time. I've never seen an event that we've done where somebody doesn't come up and, ask, well, how much does this cost? Nothing. Like, this is a service that we're providing. Obviously, if we're doing it at a trade show, we're trying to show the capability of our products, the business model of being able to do a pop-up, brand awareness, partnerships and collaborations in the industry. But I've messed up and I've just been like, whoop, and I've thrown it behind me and like, we're not going to focus on that. We're going to keep moving forward. That's it, But I mean, there's just so many different aspects. I think you've also got to pay attention to who you're catering to, and the vibe or the generations that might be attending an event. If you're going super trendy, then you've got to make sure that you are on point with the type of products that you are providing and offering, and paying attention to those things that are in retail. And if you're at an event where there is going to be some demographic versatility, then have an assortment, but just, it doesn't have to be complicated. It can still be very simple to execute.
Yeah, I think all of this rolled up into one. All of these things are so, so important, because every event is a marketing and sales opportunity rolled into one. And these customized experience bars, I'm going to call them, because it could be like a hat, it could be a tote bag, it could be a shoe bar, right? We see so much of this. And it honestly just opens up so much opportunity, because it's instant engagement. You're not just selling a product, you're building a presence. I can't tell you how many conversations came out of that experience of people that I met there, where we've connected on something else. And I would have never happened if it wasn't for, oh my gosh, this is so cool. What are you doing here? And then you're talking about, next thing you know, you're learning about the loved one that they're making the hat for, and just like helping them pick out patches for them. Right. And so it doesn't just like I love that it is a money maker for sure. It's where creativity and revenue are just colliding, right? But more than that, it's, even if someone didn't come up and actually purchase in that moment, right, or decide to make the hat, they still remember that experience that you were creating there. And then they follow you, right? Maybe the next time they do need merch, that's whenever they remember that they saw you there, right? And so I just love that it creates kind of like this sense of fear of missing out and explosivity. Like everyone at one point was like, what is going on over here?
Yeah.
Right. Like they were interested in seeing it. And honestly, it was a lot of attendees for just a couple of presses. We probably could have done with a couple of more. But for those of you that are interested in actually checking out the event that I'm talking about, we did film the entire event and we released that new video live today on YouTube. So go ahead and check that out. If you guys really want to see like a breakdown of how we were popped up there, how we kind of were set up to make sure things were moving pretty quickly so people weren't waiting in line too long. But it was definitely an experience, one to remember for sure.
How long did you fully press? Because that's the other thing. Like if you're popping up at an event or a corporate sponsored event, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is something that's always important to ask, is what the timeline constraints are, because if you have not incorporated your time into your price, then that is something where you could be missing out on. If they're expecting you to be there for 4 hours, pressing consistently, you got to make sure you have the right people, and you've got to make sure that you valued that service and yourself correctly. Because that can wear you out very quick. Because was there just 2 of you that during that event?
Yeah, so it was 3 total. So myself, John Laux, and then Gabriella from Auto.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. And then we had Scott there too.
Capturing
all the video. Shout out Scott.
What was the
time frame. Yeah. So the attendees started arriving at 6 p.m. and then they were asked to wrap up at 10 p.m. Right. But whoever was there as a vendor or as just staff in general, because they had like the chef and the servers and whatnot, and the security.
Yeah.
It was like heavily locked it down. But we had to be there at 4, right? So you have to take that into consideration because they want you to be there set up, make sure electrical and everything is working, because sometimes that is half the battle, making sure you got the right electric laid down, since you're not allowed to be in charge of that for some events. But these are all things to take into consideration, right? It's going to be different for every event. And so you just connect with a coordinator and they get everything set up for you. But yeah, you do want to take into consideration your setup time as well. Or even travel time, right? Like what if you are, right? So for me, for example, I live in Austin. I had to fly out to California for that. So that's taken into consideration as well. So there's a lot to think about, but if you're ready to get into it and really own it, I feel like this is really something that can build stronger brand relevance for heat printers, depending on what market that they're focused in.
Look at this. This is a good one.
I don't see that on my end.
Scroll down. It says, what are the key things to help with visibility of your booth? What can help attract people to see what you are doing?
From my personal experience, and Kelly, you may have a different view on this or agree, but I feel like what attracts people is movement of the equipment. Once they see what that heat press is doing, they're like leaning in. They're like, let's they get a little bit closer every time you lock that press down and you pull a hat off. So it's actually like physically moving and showing the creativity in action. And then they're like, oh, wait, can I do that?
Yeah, like how do you do that? Or I wanted to see how that was done. Oh, this is how you do it. I think the other thing is if you just had a table and you had the press and you had some patches on a table and you had some hats that were, say, at hip belly button level, there's nothing up and there's nothing out and exposed. And in this particular case, you guys had a, beautiful scenery. People were hopping. You guys had examples like pre-decorated. But if you are setting up for yourself, make sure visibility wise, you got to lift things up. People got to see and know what you're doing from a graphic standpoint. I don't even think that, of course, you want your business logo, your company, whatever, to be seen, but just showing ideas and examples and what it is that you do, that's the biggest thing, especially if you are surrounded by others where you can't really be seen from, a certain point. So you've got to find a way to kind of keep that eye up. And then, of course, if you've got multiple people surrounded by what you're doing, that's like a gravitational pull right there. You're like, well, what's happening over there? People could have been coloring pages and people would be like, what's happening?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And I will say, not only do the consumers care about how things are made, they care even more. Well, I won't say even more, but maybe even as equally as the understanding the why, right? Like, it's interesting sometimes to be like, oh yeah, that's cool. But sometimes people really, really gravitate towards it whenever they resonate with it, right? And so if they understand the why, and there is really if it's purpose driven meaning behind it, then they buy in even more, right? And I think that this Splash event was doing just that, right? They're not just selling the idea of how cool it is to come get a custom hat at this party that they're throwing. It wasn't about that. It was about supporting ocean education. And whenever you can find your brand connecting to printing with purpose, then people aren't just wearing your work, they're talking about it, right? Like, the buyer wants more than just a logo. They want the story. They want to brag about the cause that they love and hype that up and build more support around it. It's about connection, right? So it's putting more emotion into it as opposed to just an item that looks cool or that, it's less transactional. Let's put it that way.
Or pretty, or like, oh, I like that logo. There's so much more that they can really connect on that item. And I think that was said so well, because that is part of the experience as well, right? And not having pieces just kind of get tossed aside is making sure that there's some value and impact into actually what you're creating. And if people are walking and wearing those pieces that do happen to have that event on there, it's just a walking advertisement and just creates more, a brand awareness, like you said.
Yeah, you can't underestimate the power of being aligned with something people care about. It makes your brand stickier and it makes it harder to forget. So, guys, if you're listening and you're thinking, yes, this is all cool, this is exciting, it's inspiring, but I'm not in LA, I don't have Skechers money, like, I get it, but like, you can start small, right? Partner with a local coffee shop, a school event, a brewery, right? Your press is a walking money machine, okay? It's a small footprint. You can pretty much pop it up anywhere with some blanks and offer one day only designs, right? There's a lot of ways to approach this. And as we are coming to a close, because we are at our time, I just want to give a big thanks to Kelly Walters for bringing the good vibes and inspiration to today's conversation. But Kelly, any last words for the people listening in today?
No, I think the biggest thing is you have to, it's kind of corny, but you just have to go out and try it. Because when you experience like that emotional connection for people coming up to you and just saying either how thankful they were if the item was free or how much they loved the experience, like it doesn't have to be a reflection on the work itself. It's how you made them feel during the event. So even if they're spending $65, $70, $50, $35, whatever on that custom piece, they've connected with it, even if it was free. So I think it's just something to really consider. And if one didn't go the way it was planned, take notes and don't be afraid to pivot. It's okay if you need to adjust or something doesn't go the way you wanted it to the first time.
In the world of pivot.
we live in the world of
this
pivot.
industry should just be called pivot.
Yes. The middle name we shall have.
Well, if you're a heat printer looking to break out of the shop and break into new revenue, this is your sign. Don't forget to check out the full New Now Next video that just dropped on the Stahls TV YouTube channel so that you can see the setup, the presses in action, and how it all came together to support a great cause. Kelly, thank you again so much for joining us today. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.